Lucy. Kinnon. Matheson. Murphy. Nestor. Spatafora. Altrino. Bucci.
Here. Busy night.
The minutes of the council meetings of June 19th, June 26th, and June 28th.
On Councilor Matheson's motion to accept, all in favor? Next order of business.
Dear members of the council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint Patrick Hayes of 105 Wyoming Ave, Malden, Massachusetts, as the associate member of the planning board, said term to commence upon his confirmation by the city council and to expire March 1st, 2014. Pat is an architect who brings to the commission knowledge and experience with development projects. Pat will fill a current vacancy on the board. Very truly yours, Gary Christensen, Mayor. Confirmation is required.
On Councilor Lucy's motion to refer to the appointment committee, all in favor? Opposed? Passes. Next order of business.
Dear members of the council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint John Robillard, 9 Wade Street, Malden, Massachusetts, as a member of the Stadium and Athletic Field Commission, said term to expire June 21st, 2013. Very truly yours, Gary Christensen, Mayor. Confirmation is not required.
On Councilor Lucy's motion to place on file, all in favor? Opposed? Passes. Placed on file. Next order of business.
Dear members of the council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint Michelle Markanowitzki, 12 Garden Street Court, Malden, Massachusetts, as a member of the Cultural Council, said term to expire June 21st, 2015. William Filios, 100 Cross Street, said term to expire June 21st, 2015. Erica Field, 26 Upland Road, said term to expire July 16th, 2015. Candace Julian, 5 Ridgewood Road, said term to expire July 16th, 2015. Very truly yours, Gary Christensen, Mayor. Confirmation is required.
On Councilor Lucy's motion to refer to the appointments committee, all in
Dear members of the council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint Erica Mahout, 10 Linwood Street, Malden, Massachusetts, as a member of the Human Rights, Fair Housing, and Disability Issues Commission, said term to expire July 16, 2015. Gloria Salazar of 76 Tea Party Way, said term to expire July 16, 2015. Amy Hatch Foley, 6 Chatham Street Extension, said term to expire July 16, 2015. Confirmation is not required.
Do you want to ask? Are you okay? Do you want to hold it?
Well, we referred it to appointments. We
Yeah.
can check it out.
It's not going to appointments. We haven't voted on that. That one's on, no confirmation needed.
Cultural council, I thought we just did cultural council. But they do go. They do make confirmation. Now I'm really confused.
On Council Lucy's motion to refer to the appointment committee,
This one is, okay, yes, go ahead.
all in favor?
This one doesn't look like it. Which one? This one does not look
I'm sorry, on Council Lucy's motion, place on file for the commission, correct. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? They're on file. Councilor Anderson.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Let me just mention that for this Housing and Disability Issues Committee, let me just give some clarification to what's going on here. The appointments to this committee come from both the mayor's office as well as the city council. And when we put on the website the openings and encouraged people to come, we had about 21 applicants that applied. So Councilor Lucy, as the chairman of the appointment committee, asked me if I would meet with these applicants along with members of the mayor's staff. So we interviewed all 21 of them to try to find the right mix to represent both the housing, the disabilities, and the overall fair housing and equal employment aspects of this committee. So these appointments that we're seeing coming down here now are the ones that are that we kind of jointly met with, went over all of them. These are the ones that will be from the mayor's office, and there'll be others that will come from the city council. So ours will be probably coming in the next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilor Nestor.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson, I just was questioning the council president on the next committee coming up, the cultural committee, and since you're on the appointment committee, you're just wondering why we have a Cambridge resident on this as opposed to a Malden. Did this person come before the committee?
Not yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
The next committee coming up, the cultural council,
The Cultural Council is the next for discussion.
is the next, item for discussion. And I just noticed there was a Cambridge resident on here. I was wondering why that position was going to a Cambridge resident as opposed to Malden. Are they transitioning in? And I didn't know if you had interviewed this person as well. I don't know this person, just piqued my interest here.
Yes, we did interview people that had applied, and we ended up with people that were applying who were not only residents of the city of Malden, but were people who worked in these organizations that may have lived in another city, but had their roots to the city of Malden through these agencies that they've worked at. I can't quite offhand remember what the Diana Golden's particular position was, but that was an appointment that came out of the mayor's office. But the people that were encouraged to apply, and the ones that of the 20, there were 21 applicants. I mean, I think that was outstanding. There were 21 applicants that applied, and we narrowed it down to 17 in which we interviewed. And of that, I think we've got 4 appointments, and the mayor has 3. Okay?
And for a point of information, Councilor Anderson, Councilor Nestor is speaking to the next discussion on the Cultural Council. So I think there was just a disconnect. He's speaking to an applicant for the Cultural Council.
Okay.
He's good. It's going to go to committee. He's right.
Okay, sorry, Councilor Kinnon.
That comes up next, and I guess we don't have a vote on that?
It's going to go to committee.
It says confirmation not required. What is
It
that?
needs to go to committee.
Okay.
Next order of business.
Dear members of the council, pursuant to the provisions of law, I hereby appoint Diana Golden of 872 Mass Ave, Cambridge, as a member of the Cultural Council, said term to expire August 7, 2015. Paula Spizzeri, 5 Beacon Street, Malden, said term to expire August 7, 2015. Eric Weil, 52 Barrett Street, said term to expire August 7, 2015.
On Council Lucy's Council Lucy's motion to refer to appointment committee, all in favor? Opposed? It's going to committee for discussion.
Not fair housing.
Not fair housing, Councilor Anderson, the Cultural Council. We've already done the fair housing. It is required, according to our city clerk.
It's a mistake.
It was a mistake on the docket. Correct. You're welcome.
Application for the license to drive a taxi cab. Samuel Carter, 16 Nichols Street, Malden. John Coughlin, 16 Millwood Street, Dorchester. Wendell Donnell, 130 Bowden Street, Lowell. Shannon Vassinelli, 15 Staples Ave, Everett. William Hilliker, 49 Brook Street, Revere. Kimberly Kermis, 164 Samet Street, Malden. John LaRiviere, 28 Bradford Street, Everett. Paul Moore, 14 Foster Street, Melrose. Joseph O'Hearn, 36 Minor Street, Somerville. Frank Pensavalle, 117 Linden Ave, Malden. Ronald Robson, 22 Tappan Street, Everett. Deborah Sarno, 31 Admiral Way, Chelsea. Jean Vincent, 145 Pleasant Street, Malden. Robert Woodman, 50 Rockwell Street, Malden. Jerome Zorbis, 890 Broadway, Chelsea. William Ralph Harkins, 25 Arlington Road, Everett. Brian Palmer, 7476 Mariana Street, Revere. K&M Transportation, 27 Fairfield Ave.
On Councilor Anderson's motion to refer to License Committee, all in favor? Opposed? Referred to License. Next order of business.
The petition of National Grid for the installation of underground facilities under and across the public way-of-ways marked Faulkner Street from pole 2280 to the property line of 901. A hearing is required.
I'm going to declare the hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the petition, please come forward and state your name, address for the record.
It's Mike Cordima. I work at National Grid Electric at 170 Medford Street in Malden. The petition for the Faulkner Street location is to provide power to the school property for future facilities.
Any questions for Councilor Murphy?
So basically, is there going to be any disruption to the neighbors while you're doing this? Because we do have a number of housing units that abut this particular property.
Normally, they don't take out other customers to provide new power to a new customer, so I would say no. They'll just provide for them.
Will there be any notice given to the abutters that this is going on in the event that there is a disruption?
There would be definitely a mailing sent out.
Okay, and that goes out a week in advance or days in advance, or
More than a week, I'd say.
more than a week? And how just the immediate abutters, or does it go out to a certain grid pattern, or?
Anybody affected by this certain particular power feeder would be notified for whatever the duration would be. And all their concerns, they could call in to the number and the letters that will be mailed.
Okay, and could I be added to that list so that I would know who the abutters are in the event that I get calls from them, please?
Okay. Your name is?
It's Councilor Murphy.
Okay. Counselor Murphy.
It's bmurphy@cityofmalden.org.
Murphy, cityofmalden.org.
Yes. So, I'd like to know when the notices are, I actually like a copy of the notice, when the notices are going out, and to whom they're going to.
It could be a while because it's the future, but you'll be there. You'll be on that list.
I'll be on that list. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Yep. Councilor D'Angelo.
Thank you. Mr. Cameron was before us several months ago. We had asked for an update and a report. I don't know if you have that with you tonight, an update on the double poles and some other outstanding issues from National Grid?
No, I'm sorry, sir. I haven't even seen Dan for a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay.
Point of information, Councilor D'Angelo, that request has actually been made to our clerk for that information for us to get an update from National Grid. Any other questions? Okay. That part of the meeting in regards to folks who are in favor is closed. Anyone want to come up and speak in opposition to this petition? I don't see anyone else, so I'm going to close that part of the public hearing. On Council Murphy's motion to grant, subject to the following conditions: that the street sidewalk be restored to the satisfaction of the Public Works Commission, and that the engineering be notified when dig safe is called. All in favor? Opposed? Petition. Thank you, sir.
The petition in National Grid to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across Glen Rock Ave. A hearing is required.
And this particular hearing is now open. Anyone in favor of speaking to the petition, please come up, state your name, your address for the record.
Yes. My name's Mike Cordama from National Grid Electric at 170 Medford Street. This petition is for the conduits to supply power to a city parking lot, floodlights and poles included.
Councilor Nestor, do you have any questions for the... I'm sorry, Councilor Nestor?
This is the other one.
Can you explain to us again what you're putting in here?
Yes, I'll read this here. It's a petition to install 2 poles and 2 anchors for floodlighting and 1 street light at the city parking facility. I was mistaken about the conduits. It's going to be overhead wire.
Okay. And this is to illuminate a city lot?
Yes.
Any of that illumination going to shine into private property? It's been
By
a
the looks
concern.
of the drawing, no, it will be faced away.
Okay.
Any other questions, Councilor Matheson? Okay. Anyone else on the board have any other questions? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this petition, please come up to the podium. Seeing none, I'm going to close that portion of the hearing and open it up for those who have any opposition to please come up to the podium. Seeing none, I'm declaring that portion of, sorry. Your name and your address, ma'am.
Marion Browning, 39 Glen Rock Avenue, and I'm not really clear what's going on here. We've just moved into the neighborhood, and is this for the park that's at the end of Glen Rock Road? Or is this on the street itself? Could we have a little more understanding of what this is.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Matheson? Are we able to explain to the resident?
You know, I think we need a little more time to actually do a field visit here, and I'd like any approval here to be conditioned on the inspection approval of DPW. I know, yeah, and obviously contingent on dig safe notification. I know we've had some concerns recently with illumination reaching into private property, sometimes shining in households. I'm sorry, I thought I was speaking loud enough. I can't hear what it sounds like on the other side of this. But what I did say was there have been concerns about illumination shining on a private property. I'd like to do a site visit and make sure that's not the case. I'd like any approval based on a review by the DPW. Yeah. And obviously approval of dig safe. So I'd like to make that motion, Council President,
To table?
to table this.
All right, so we want a motion to table for further. Do I have a second?
Where is this light in the pole?
You know, we do have a map here, and the petitioner may have it as well. Feel free to take a look, and if you want any more time, perhaps Council President will extend it. Yeah.
So this is the light that was just installed last week, within the last 2 weeks, in the park?
Is this the illumination?
So we're having a hearing after it's already been installed? Or is this an additional installation?
Council President, you want to extend our time to come up to the podium?
Ma'am, can you come up to the podium for a moment? There's clearly a need for more information related to this particular segment of our...
The acoustics are awful in here, I'm sorry, I can't.
There's clearly a need for more information related to this discussion point, related to this particular area at Glen Rock Ave. And what I believe Councilor Matheson has requested is a tabling motion so that he can further evaluate the proposed work that they're proposing tonight. I'm not sure we're talking about the same light that you're talking about is what we're talking about up here. So there is confusion. There's no doubt there's some confusion, which is why the tabling motion has been made. It would give and allow Councilor Matheson time to go out and review the area, which is what I believe you want to do, correct?
Absolutely.
And that may, in fact, be able to provide more information and answer some of the questions you have as a new resident in that area.
So,
Does
and
that
how
make
would I
sense?
find the answers to those, and when this would happen, or so forth? What's the process, please?
Ma'am, do you live in this neighborhood?
I do, 39 Glen Rock Ave.
Okay. And what is your name, ma'am?
It's Marion, M-A-R-I-O-N,
Okay.
and the last name is Browning, B-R-O-W-N-I-N-G.
Okay. And there is some illumination that went into Patchell Park. I want to confirm whether or not this is related to that, or if this is a separate matter. Do you have any illumination problems in your private property?
Define illumination problems.
Additional light on your property that you're unpleased with?
I would say since the park lights were installed, it's far brighter there, and I'm really not seeing the need, or what was the need to begin with. But
Yeah.
being new in the area, perhaps there's some things I'm not aware of, so.
I can tell you recently that some lighting did go in at the
Yeah.
behest of the mayor's office to address an issue that was occurring there. And this looks like it's additional illumination, and I definitely need to do a site visit. I want to make sure that all the relevant authorities are involved, most especially the DPW. So I'll go down there with the director. I want to make sure any lights have the correct wattage, that they don't create a nuisance for anyone's private property. And you're telling me that the lights are not presently shining on your property?
I would say not directly on the property, but there's certainly illumination on the entire Glen Rock Road that was not there before, and just trying to understand where else we're talking about putting lights in the area.
If you'd like to talk after the council meeting, another day this week, please give your information to the Sheila, the city.
Sheila?
Yeah,
Yep.
the council
And I
clerk.
assume then the site visit would be at night when the lights are on?
Of course.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
you'd like me to contact you and speak with you at a better
yes.
time, I'll definitely reach out to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. So, Council President, I'd like this tabled so we can do our diligence.
Okay, and we have a second on that tabling.
Councilor Nestor.
All in favor? Opposed? That particular item has been tabled. Next order of business.
The petition of National Grid to construct a line of underground electric conduits, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures under and across the public way named Pleasant Street. A hearing is required.
The hearing is open, and I would ask once again for National Grid or any, the gentleman that's representing National Grid who is speaking in favor to come to the podium.
With the correct map.
Okay. The information that I've just received is that the map that has been submitted and the notice that had gone out to notify folks of this particular request is incorrect. So the petition that you have before us tonight would have to be withdrawn. I'm going to ask Councilor Nestor if he wants to speak to this, but that's pretty much the gist of it, that it would have to be withdrawn and resubmitted for approval with the correct map that's associated to it with the correct streets.
Yes, thank you. There's a lot to this. Pleasant Street, we have some construction going on right now through the state, so I want to make sure that that's going to work hand in hand with that. But the map I was given, it says Pleasant Street, yet it looks like it's Florence Street where the work is going to be done. So I want to make sure that the correct abutters have been notified, and that I want to see how, if it is indeed Pleasant Street, that we've talked to the state and the people that are working on it right now, so we kind of work hand in hand in that. We're not digging up areas that we're you're going to need to withdraw that and then resubmit with the correct map. And if need be, the abutters would have to be notified again as well. And we want to make sure that the correct abutters have been notified.
Correct.
So you want this petition for Pleasant Street resubmitted with a new map? You're saying that this is the wrong location?
Yeah,
I'll go
the
back
map
and look
on
at
it looks like it's Florence Street, but you label it Pleasant Street. And so we don't know exactly where the work is going to be done. And then, like I say, we do have construction going on right now on Pleasant Street, quite a substantial amount of money being put into that through some work with the state. And then also notification of the abutters. Were the Pleasant Street people notified about this, and will they have a chance to speak at a public hearing, or was it the Florence Street abutters that need to be notified? So there's quite a bit of things that will have to be redone on that.
Okay, I'll take it back and let them know that. Withdraw for a new map.
So your motion is to withdraw?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next order of business?
The petition of Comcast for permission to lay and maintain underground conduits and manholes with wires and cables to be placed therein under the surface of Exchange Street. A hearing is required.
I declare this hearing on this item open. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of it, please come to the podium. State your name and your address for the record.
Earl Lawson, Project Coordinator, Comcast, 10 Lowell Ave, Winchester.
Rick Mayo with Mira Construction out of Georgetown, Mass.
And this is also an item that is in Councilor Nestor's jurisdiction, but I will ask you to provide the council with a brief description of what it is you're going to do.
We are going to break out of an existing manhole at the corner of Middlesex Street and Exchange Street by the Hobby Bunker, come down the curb line on Exchange Street, and place a manhole by the Exchange Street Bistro, continue on down and install another manhole down by the Eastern Bank I think it's 94 Pleasant Street, and that is to provide service to the people on that side of Exchange Street and Pleasant Street that currently do not have service.
And Counselor Nestor, do you want to speak to the work at all?
No, I think you've already worked on Exchange Street previously, correct?
Yes, we just,
Yes,
matter of fact, we just grinded in latest for you, I think it was this past week.
Yeah, so they do excellent work, so I'm happy to move this forward.
Okay. All righty then. Is there anyone else who would be willing to speak in favor of this petition? That portion closed. Anyone in opposition of this request? Declare that portion as well closed. On Council Nestor's motion to grant, subject to the following conditions: that the street and sidewalk be restored to the satisfaction of the Public Works Commission, and that engineering be notified when the dig safe is called. All in favor? Opposed? It's approved. Next order of business.
Application for transfer of a Class II dealer's license, New England Economy Cars, 1617 Charles Street, for renewal of a pool table license, Malden Elks, 37 Florence Street, renewal of a pool table, Malden Eagles, 75 Meridian Street, application for a new pawnbroker's license, Pawn in the USA, 359 Commercial Street, application for a new secondhand dealer's license, Pawn in the USA, 359 Commercial Street.
Refer to license.
And on Council Anderson's motion to refer to the License Committee, all in favor? Opposed? It's referred to license. Next order of business.
Ordered that the sum of $133,000 being the same as hereby transferred to police salaries from the following accounts: $74,000 from highway labor, $40,000 from treasurer salaries, $11,000 from senior center salaries, $8,000 from assessor salaries. Councilor Lucy.
On Council Lucy's motion to refer to finance, all in favor? Opposed? Referred to finance. Next order of business.
Ordered that the Citizen Engagement Committee develop an ongoing program to educate residents on methods to improve neighborhood integrity. Councilor Bucci.
Thank you. I spoke with the chair of the Citizens Engagement Committee this afternoon to explain that the general purpose behind this is to engage the committee and to develop and discuss the creating of an educational program with residents about how they may be able to assist in the improvements in their particular neighborhoods, and to work in concert with the Board of Health as they start to revamp and update their good neighbor policy materials. So I'm going to ask that this be referred to the Citizens Engagement Committee. All in favor? Opposed? It's referred. Next order of business.
Ordered that the city consider appointing a hearing officer for the purpose of conducting hearings on violations to the fire and building codes. Councilor Bucci.
This particular request has come up before us. Currently, our hearing officer is not able to hear any appeals related to violations related to fire or building codes. So there is a need to get a temporary process in place. And I would like to see if we could refer this to finance for further discussion about what those needs and what the additional costs may be. But currently, we do not have the ability to hear those particular violations. So I would ask for your support in having this referred to finance. All in favor? Opposed? It's referred. Next order of business.
Ordered that the ordinance committee consider and make recommendations to the full council relative to imposing restrictions on the domicile of registered sex offenders. Councilor Nestor.
Councilor Nestor.
Thank you. I was speaking to some residents on a number of issues, and this came up that they have very small children that walk to and from the bus stop and go at least past one registered sex offender, maybe more. So we just want to have a discussion with the ordinance committee and the city solicitor's office to see if there's any restrictions that can be placed in and around sex offenders and where they live. So I just, for discussion purposes, would like to move this to ordinance, and also would invite the city solicitor to take a look and provide a recommendation, which I've already had that discussion with our city solicitor. Thank you.
On Councilor Nestor's motion to refer to the ordinance committee, all in favor? Opposed? Referred to ordinance. Next order of business.
Ordered that the city ratify and confirm the mayor's execution of a lease for the property located at 1 Salem Street for use as a teen center. Councilor Lucy.
Councilor Lucy for the paper.
Thank you, Madam President. When we left, before we went to summer break, the city passed a budget that included a teen center, which is going to be called Malden Teen Enrichment Center. This is the mayor signed a lease with the landlord recently, and this would be to confirm and ratify the agreement subject to annual appropriation by the city council. And I would ask the full city council support.
Okay, I see a light down to my left. Councilor Kennedy.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. It is clear that this will pass tonight based on, the budget and all. But I have two objections to this. And I won't belabor the point, but my objection was clearly stated during the budget phase, so that's over in terms of I believe we should be doing a pilot. Probably shouldn't have rented a facility in the first place. But my more important, because that's in the past, my more important objection to what's happening here tonight is that the council needs to start, and the mayor needs to start following the rules and the ordinances of the city. We are getting a lease which is already signed. And the city council, particularly public properties, I believe, should have gotten this lease before it was signed. And we have ordinances which state that the council should approve prior, not after the fact. Now you can march the city solicitor in here, and she's going to give you one of these legalese type answers. No need to do that. You got the votes to do this. I'm not going beyond here this time. But when you're signing a lease that's going to appropriate money beyond 1 year, you need to have approval of this council before you obligate the city to over $25,000 in obligation a year. Now, there's no question that the mayor would have gotten that. In fact, I've read through the lease. I think the mayor did a good job negotiating. But you can't not follow the rules. And everybody knows what those rules mean. So tomorrow, just to make a point, if the mayor walked down the street and said, I want a new city hall, and this we know costs us, probably $1 million a year, so the money's in the budget, and the mayor walked down the street and he said, I want a new city hall for 3 years, and it's $100,000 a year, I'm going to save the city money. There is nobody sitting here who would think that that was all right for the mayor to obligate us past 1 year. 1 year is what we approved, and there is no question that the mayor had the votes to get this lease signed. But we need to start following our rules from a control standpoint and a financial standpoint. Otherwise, at some point, we're going to find ourselves in deep trouble. So for that reason, I'm not voting for this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kinnon. Councilor D'Arcangelo.
Thank you, Madam President. I take a slightly different approach. I'm not going to vote for it. One of the reasons is because I'm concerned about some of the details that haven't been worked out. On something that's somewhat related, we have a proposed policy here on how to handle the senior community center, which we discovered, public properties discovered earlier this year, that the city was exposed to a great deal of liability because we didn't have a proper set of policies, procedures, and controls and paperwork in place to shield against that. So I too think that, I wasn't for this during the budget deliberations, but that has passed. But policy-wise, in terms of making sure all of the behind-the-scenes stuff is taken care of, which it may very well have been. I guess to the previous counselor's point, and this is our first session back, but perhaps we could have waited to get those details before going forward, because it was clear that the support was there, whether I voted for it or not. The support was there, and we're going to go with how it was voted. There was enough support there that it was going to happen. So I don't think it's being nitpicky. I do think it is an appropriate discussion to have about the management and the manner with which we are managing city resources, city dollars. So that's my 2 cents on this, and I understand how people feel on this. I would ask for a call of the yeas and the nays should a vote be taken. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Spatafor?
I want to agree with Councilor Kinnon. I agree with Councilor Kinnon. I think the biggest thing is, on principle, the lease is fantastic. I was one who's always been nervous about leasing property for the City Hall. I am voting for this, but I think the bigger picture is, knowing how this mayor has always been, somebody who's been in great communication and wanted to be transparent. I do wish that he set this down, or at least ask the council before he signed this. If it was a time issue, I'm sure the council would have together to make sure this lease was done properly. Again, I'm voting for it. But I do recall when this mayor was a city councilor, he advocated before the past mayor, Richard Howard, with the terms of union negotiations, because he felt we were always in the back nine. The mayor would negotiate a pay increase in most cases with the union, and then come down to council after it was voted upon and say, we need the money because we've already voted on it, and I can't go back on my word with that committee. So I think it's the same instance here, where the votes are there. It's a great lease. I think it's a good use, but just, I think, include the council, especially in a big decision like this, and I think Council King's point, we know we're looking for a new City Hall. I don't think anybody in this council would want the mayor to sign a lease for any value, for anything, without at least letting the council know. But again, I'm in full support of this, but I do agree with Council King's, motion, idea, thought that the mayor will be transparent. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Spatafor. Councilor Nestor?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we table it for 1 week and have the mayor come down to public properties and provide a, if there was a rationale for why and having it done quickly, or what the process was indeed there.
Again, I'd have to be finding a second for that. I'm not in favor of that myself, but.
I'll make the second.
Okay. The roll call. Is that? So the motion is to table this for a week.
Table for 1 week and ask the mayor to come to public properties to provide background on the lease and the rationale for signing it, without going through the ordinances.
Can we speak on a table motion? Well, can we speak on a table motion? Do we have the courtesy to be, are you willing to have the courtesy for the sponsor? What's that?
Okay, so
Okay, this is no.
Okay, let's
Okay.
do it.
The motion is to table it for 1 week and then have the mayor come down to speak with public properties on this particular item. And it's a roll call.
Councilor Anderson? Yes. Crow? No. D'Arcangelo? No. No. Lucy? No. Lucy? No. No. Kinnon? Yes. Matheson?
Yes.
Yes. Murphy? Yes. Nestor?
Yes.
Yes. Spatafora? No. Altrino? No. Bucci?
No.
No. So the table motion fails 6-5.
Table and motion fails 6-5. I'll try you again, but you may make a little noise there.
I think at the very least, I don't know how, I think we should invite the mayor down next week regardless of the vote.
I agree.
Address this, just talk
just to make sure that these kinds of things just don't happen.
So I think if, Madam Clerk, I don't know, we can't, we order them,
Cannot order him, but you can certainly ask.
Invite them, right. Will do. On Council Lucy's motion to adopt is a roll call.
Counselor Anderson? Yes. Crow? Yes. Yes. D'Angelo? No. Lucy? Yes. Kinnon? No. Matheson? Yes. Murphy? Yes. Nestor? Yes. Spatafora? Yes. Otrino? Yes. Bucci?
Yes.
Yes.
Adopted 9-2. Next order of business.
Order that the city accept the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 32B, Section 20. Councilor Lucy.
On Council Lucy's motion to refer to finance. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Referred to finance. Next order of business.
Be it hereby ordained by the Malden City Council that the revised ordinances of 1991 as amended be further amended regarding abandoned satellite dishes and antennas. Councilors Bucci, Lucy, Crow, Altrino, and Murphy.
I'll speak to this, and certainly there are 4 other sponsors. In what has been the genesis of this request is in my tour, walking tour with the Problem Properties Unit. We are looking at properties throughout the Ward 8 area, and in some cases, some of those properties had half a dozen dishes on their properties, and during the process of best understanding the functions of those dishes, there were 3 different carriers. By perception, some people felt that there were many people living in that property, when in reality, that party, that owner, had actually changed its dish service 3 times. However, once the dish is on, it doesn't come off unless the carrier takes it off. So the discussion around this is intended for us to hopefully craft some language and guidelines that would prompt folks who own their properties to remove those dishes, or in fact work with their particular carrier that they no longer are contracted with to take that particular visualization off the property. And thus, I think, would lower the number of people thinking that there are rooming houses that in actuality may not be in existence, and those property owners are falling to the perception. So again, I just think it's a healthy discussion to have about how we can make some further improvements in the quality of our neighborhood. So I don't know if there's any other councilor who wants to speak to it. I don't see any lights. So I'm going to ask that we refer this to ordinance. All in favor? Opposed? To ordinance? Passes. Next order of business.
Be it hereby ordained that Section 6.2 of the revised ordinances of 1991 be further amended to require surveillance equipment be installed on premises seeking extended hours permits. Councilor Spatafora.
Councilor Spatafora for the paper.
I'll try it again. Thank you, Madam President. And real brief, if anybody would like to join in. I know this was discussed a couple years ago with regards to extended licenses for the city of Malden in order to come in before the committee. In the past, we did get some resistance from some store owners about the cost, but I think most people agree the cost of these surveillance equipment has dramatically reduced. Most of the convenience stores that I've actually walked through over the last couple of weeks already had such equipment. One little footnote to this is actually the reason I put this forward, but I found out after from the clerk, this will not mandate our liquor board if we do pass this ordinance. We can ask the liquor board to follow this ordinance, but we cannot ask them to mandate this. And my intent was to, again, any store that comes in for extended hours, for most people that is, past 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night, and for restaurants would be the same time frame. I think we've shown over the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, why we need such systems in a crime situation, but I think it's also good for the store owners for potential reduction in overall theft. And in the unlikely event or ungodly event that we need to use these cameras, I've done some research in the past, not only with municipal cameras, but also private cameras. They help immensely in solving crimes, and more importantly, when Amber Alerts are put in place, we can the people have accessed these cameras before for footage where this individual was, or maybe who might have been near that individual in the Amber Alert. So I don't want people to think this is just for, that type of crime. It's for every type of crime. And so I'm asking the ordinance committee to review this and hopefully pass this in the future. Thank you, Madam President.
Seeing no lights on Councilor Spatafora's motion to refer to ordinance, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes to ordinance. Next order of business.
Be hereby ordained that the city adopt revised ordinances of 2012. Councilors D'Angelo, Matheson, and Crow.
Councilor D'Angelo for the paper.
Thank you, Madam President. And thanks to Councilor Matheson, Councilor Crow, and certainly our city clerk, Karen Anderson, for all the work that has happened on the ordinances since January when we formed this committee. It's here tonight, and I'm happy to, I have spoken with the chair ordinance, and it can go there. I think one of the things that the clerk was, and I'll defer to the clerk, but I think one of the things that the clerk was hoping was that we could do this in a two-part measure. This one tonight being really just all the obvious stuff, pretty much just all the formatting, cleaning up various typos, taking out the coal inspector, and all of the obvious stuff. And then the other substantive piece would go into ordinance for debate on, not that there's a lot of contentious issues, but there are a couple of issues that you need to get consensus around and have all of the councilors aware of that. So I think we should move this along. I don't know if any of the other members of the ad hoc committee want to speak on it, but went through every ordinance that we have here, and there's a lot of them, and there's some of them that people wouldn't think would be in there, like livestock and, like I mentioned before, coal. So I think we've done a good job. Really hats off to Karen. She's done an excellent job on this, and it's pretty much her baby. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor D'Angelo. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, and I want to thank everyone who worked on that committee, because I'm sure it was not the most exciting process in the world to have to go through all those ordinances. But even if we are breaking this into two sections, I, for one, unless I missed something in some email, have not seen a copy of any of this. And before we move anything forward, I would at least like a copy, even if it's just typos, to review it. So I would suggest that we all receive a copy of it and have a chance to digest it, and then make a motion to move it forward after that. Thank you.
For a point of information, I think what Councilor D'Angelo is attempting to do tonight is just move it to ordinance committee. That we would not be taking a vote, which you would certainly, to your point, we'll make sure that information is distributed to the council, but tonight it's only to move it to committee.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President. And just to the councilor's point, really what we've done is we've gone through every single ordinance. So basically, if you want to review it, which I encourage you to do, it's like stylistic, it's formatting to pretty much every ordinance. We've brought because really the ordinances are pretty much a hodgepodge of all these special acts and ordinances that the council has passed, and all these things put together over years since 1991. So I think it was a pet peeve of Karen's to make sure that we could try to update them and get them all in the proper, the sections matching up where sections should go. Over the years, it had evolved that sections were pulled out of Section 5, for example, and put into Section 3 for some other reason. So she was constantly going back and forth. So things like that just to be aware of. So yes, absolutely, everybody's going to get a copy, have a chance to review it. But it is pretty dry reading, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilor D'Angelo. So on Councilor D'Angelo's motion to refer to ordinance, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? To ordinance it goes. Next order of business.
Resolved is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission post speed signs on the eastbound side of Salem Street between Beach Street and Kennedy Drive. Councilor Bucci.
On Council Bucci's motion to pass to Traffic Commission for further evaluation on that area, all in favor? Opposed?
Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission install a stop sign at the intersection of Blaine and Morris Streets. Councilor Bucci.
On behalf of the residents who have requested this, would ask that you support a motion to pass on to Traffic Commission for further evaluation. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolved that it is the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission authorize a raised crosswalk at the current school crosswalk in front of 770 Salem Street. Councilor Kinnon.
Just want to send that to traffic.
On Councilor Kinnon's motion to pass to traffic, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moves to traffic.
Dear members of the council, I am submitting for review a proposed policy entitled Rules and Regulations governing the use and rental of the John and Christina Markey Senior Community Center. The fundamental purpose of this policy is to provide an alternative meeting place for community groups and organizations who work hard to make a difference in Malden. The proposed policy incorporates the suggestions made by the City Council's Public Property Committee and is similar to the Malden Public Schools hall rental policy. The key points included in the policy are as follows. All individuals, groups, organizations, or businesses seeking to use or rent the senior center are subject to approval by the director, and he or she reserves the right to cancel for failure to adhere to any of these rules and regulations. Renters and users of the premises need to follow all City of Malden ordinances and Malden Police Department guidelines pertaining to police details. The policy further requires that arrangements be made between the renter and nearby parking lots and/or facilities so that parking is made available for events. All individuals, groups, organizations, or businesses seeking to use or rent the senior center are required to complete an application form and to pay the required rental fee as outlined in the attached schedule of rental fees. Any custodial costs are included in said fees. All revenues generated from rental fees are remitted to the Council on Aging expense account for use towards senior center operating expenses. Anyone renting or using the premises for any reason is required to indemnify and hold the City of Malden and senior center harmless for any damages and/or injuries resulting from use of the senior center. Thank you for your consideration. If you have further questions, please contact me sincerely, Gary Christensen, Mayor.
And for point of clarification, the proposed policy that the mayor has sent down to us that's just been read is a motion to refer to public property for further discussion by the Public Property Committee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next order of business.
Dear members of the City Council, I am submitting for review the city's response to the fiscal year 2011 management letter. The responses are highlighted in blue and follow each recommendation contained within the report. As you recall, the management letter was submitted in June, and since that time I've been meeting with department heads in order to review the report and recommendations. I am pleased to report that many of the recommendations were already being implemented prior to the report's release. I have also made it clear to all department heads that part of their evaluation process will include findings in their departments during the annual audit process. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss the management letter and the city's response with you. In the meantime, this information will be published on the city's website for dissemination to the community. If you should have any further questions, please contact me. Sincerely, Gary Christensen, Mayor.
And again, for point of clarification, it's a communication, again, with a motion for it to be referred to finance for further deliberation and discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? To committee. Next order of business.
The Standing Committee on Ordinance, to whom was referred paper number 268, series of 2012, Having considered the same, make the following report. Ordered that the city submit to the Massachusetts Legislature for passage an act authorizing the Malden Traffic Commission to establish special speed regulations on certain streets. Committee recommends that this paper be reported out favorably. Councilor Nestor for the committee.
On Councilor Nestor's motion to receive the committee report, all in favor? Opposed? Councilor Nestor for the paper.
Thank you. This was a petition that was before the ordinance committee, voted out, I believe, 4 or 5 to 0, and would allow the city's traffic department and the police department to regulate speeding limits in certain areas, which they don't currently have the right to do so far. So it would give that extra granting authority to the city and the police to modify certain speed limits. I know, Councilor Crowe, I think this is your original paper. Would you care to speak on it?
Thank you. This was something that was actually brought up by residents on Madison Street. It's a cut through. We've had multiple accidents. And so when I went to the Traffic Commission, by law, you can't lower the rates, the speed limits in certain areas, you know, densely settled, all of those kind of things. So Everett is doing the same thing. They have the same issue with the cut through, in particular in that area. So they're also doing a home rule petition to see about lowering some of the speed limits in some of the areas. So I appreciate the council's support in going forward.
And on Councilor Nestor's motion to adopt, the roll call.
Councilor Anderson. Yes. Crowe. Yes. D'Angelo. Kinnon. Yes. Lucy. Yes. Matheson. Yes. Murphy. Nestor. Yes. Spatafora. Yes. Altrino. Yes. Bucci.
Yes. 11 to 0. Next order of business.
Under suspension of docket rules, resolved, there's the sense of the City Council that the Traffic Commission installed 2-hour parking, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. signs on the even side of Highland Ave between Adams Street and Emerald Street. Councilor Altrino.
On Councilor Altrino's motion to suspend docket rules, all in favor? Opposed? On Councilor Altrino.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I'm just looking to forward this over to traffic. This was something I thought was approved and sent to traffic. There's been no record, unfortunately, so it's something needed by the residents. Thank you.
Okay, and on Councilor Altrino's motion to pass, all in favor? Opposed? It passes. Docket is clear. Personal privilege. I will start to my left. Okay, and working my way down, I believe, Councilor D'Angelo.
Thank you, Madam President. 2 things. One is the Visitors Bureau Feasibility Study Commission is almost completed. We're going to be meeting in about a week, and we hope to have something back in front of this body by the next time the full council meets to be able to vote on it. We have met and have produced a pretty decent report, of which they haven't even seen yet. I'm going to be emailing it to them probably tomorrow, but we're going to go over that. We're going to have a final meeting on that. We're going to take some votes, and that's going to come back before this group. Another thing is, as many of you know, my colleagues know here, that I'm president of Rotary, and the theme of Rotary this year is peace through service. And one of the things that we're endeavoring to do is, in light of some of the recent things that have gone on in the city, public safety-wise, we're trying to really capitalize on that and pull everybody together for a big peace forum. That's going to be on the 25th. So I think we'll have another meeting before then, and I'll announce it then. But just to give everybody the heads up, if you could put that on your calendars, it will be a morning meeting, and we're going to have it a working meeting. It's going to be from 9 to 12, and really kind of roll up your sleeves, put all the opinion leaders and agenda setters and everybody with a stake in the community in one room, and really see if we can try to get some good information out there, exchange some information, and try to solve for these things going on, because I know people in the community, I'm sure you've all heard it, are very upset about what's going on, and we need to address it. I have faith in the Malden Police Department that their investigations are going well, the administration is working with them, so that's all good. But I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're communicating that to the community, and that they know that this council is working as I know you all have been. So we're trying to incorporate that and bring everybody together. So again, give everybody a heads up on that. You will be getting letters. I'm going to be sending them over to Sheila tomorrow, so everybody will be getting letters as well. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor D'Angelo. Councilor Altrino?
Thank you, Madam President. Ward 2 was very busy this summer. I first want to thank the residents for their patience. I know there were 8 streets or so that pipes were dug up and put new water mains, new hydrants in. So the streets were quite a mess, and it disturbed a lot of what the residents were trying to do during the summer. So thank you for your patience, and I promise some good paving is coming forth, hopefully next spring, to repave those streets that just have a temporary patch on it. I want to congratulate the Ancient Order of Hibernians on Charles Street. They won the annual 4th of July softball tournament. Congratulations to Fire Commissioner Denny. He's the president. It's the first time they won in a while. And thank you to all the volunteers. And also thank you for the community support for the St. Rocco Feast, which was 83 years this year. No public safety concerns. Thousands of people came out, even though we got rained out one day. And special thanks to the Irish American. Yesterday, they held their annual road race for Dana-Farber. There had to be 300-400 runners, and they raised quite a great amount for Dana-Farber. And the best part of the day is I beat Mayor Christensen in the run. So that was the highlight of my summer, and it was a great way to end it. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Nestor?
Thank you. Just a few quick items. One, as people may have seen, there's quite a bit of work being done on Pleasant Street right now. We're working with the state on this. Quite a bit of money came through. But one point I wanted to just bring out as a point of information. We had a public meeting here in City Hall, and we spoke to the contractor. The contractor had made mention that he is hiring a Malden resident. They have a very small group working on it. He was aware of the ordinance, and he hired a Malden resident. So I know there's been some talk about pulling that ordinance back and maybe getting rid of it, but it is working out there. We do have somebody, per what the contractor told me, working there, a Malden resident working in downtown Malden, putting money in his pocket, or her pocket. So I hope that we take that into consideration. I want to congratulate Malden Little League Baseball, especially Glenn Curtis. Put together a softball tournament for the Jimmy Fund. I think they raised anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000. It was a great day. About 20 to 30 different teams, about 2 or 3 different parks. Absolutely a fantastic job that Glenn had done for that. And lastly, a call to help to the residents in and around Waits Mount. We've started the renovation project. It's about $1.7 million that's being done. I don't know if you've been up there lately, but it looks absolutely fantastic already. We've had all the graffiti removed. We've had all the invasive species removed up there. It looks absolutely fantastic. We've also had a vacuuming done of all the areas in and around the park, and especially at the top where there's quite a bit of alcohol consumption going on. People seem to break bottles up there. So we had a crew that came in and actually vacuumed that up. What we are having trouble with is people still going up there at certain times and smashing bottles, things like that. So I'd ask the neighbors in and around the area, if you see anybody going up there that doesn't look like they have great intentions, is to reach out either to myself or especially the police department, so we can kind of root those people out as much as we can. It's quite of a project that's going on. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's absolutely going to be fantastic when it's done. I think the people in Malden will be happy when it's done. But if we're investing this much money, we need help from everybody involved. And if you haven't been up there, I'd ask the residents of the city to go up there and take a look and walk around. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how it looks, and you'll absolutely love the views up there. So come on out, view the park, enjoy the park the way it was meant to be done for years. It's been a little bit sidetracked, but we're on the right track now, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic project. In around this time next year, we're going to have a great kind of rededication or ceremony to invite the resident of Malden back to a great park. But we need your help, kind of self-policing the park, so please, again, call the police if you see anybody going up with less than great intentions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nestor. Councilor Crowe?
Thank you,
Madam President. I just wanted to invite everybody to our 4th annual Art and Music in the Park this Saturday at Bell Rock Memorial Park. We have about 15 to 20 vendors that sell their wares, show their art. If you'd like to be involved, you can give me a call. We do have As the Sparrow, Bad Rabbits, Flavor, Chin, a couple of different bands playing at the same time. It's from 1 to 5 at Bell Rock Park, and I hope everybody comes down. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Crowe. And from my chair, just a few items. Just for folks who travel down Salem Street are hunting, Linden Park is well under its way for its renovation and upgrade. And again, welcome folks to come by and share their thoughts and ideas. We are actually looking at that park currently as a potential park to host or be considered a tournament park, so it may end up having a change order. So again, I welcome, as I always do, folks to come down and look at the park. In addition to the park getting done, one of the more piece that I'm very excited about is the Victory Delta, Linden Victory Delta, as it officially is called. It will be the area where we will be able to recognize and honor our veterans of the Korean and the Vietnam conflicts. That is getting a pretty sizable facelift and will allow for easier access for folks to go in and take pause and visit that area a bit more. Also wanted to let folks know that the Phase 3 of Linden Square is going to get underway in the next few weeks related to another segment of work that we're doing down there under a beautification and cleanup area. Also this summer, I want to thank the folks who've been working with me on the RFP with the fire station. I've toured some other locations that one of the contractors that we're looking at, or developers, I'm sorry, has mentioned doing to our Oliver Street Fire Station, and I will be hosting a meeting down in Linden to cover several areas of interest for the public, that being one of them, and also to encourage folks to get engaged and come to the planning board meeting, or at least be participating with us in our discussion around the proposed project in development of the Linden Square corner property, which is formerly the old Bank of America. That is proposed coming up, I believe, on the 12th. Also want to thank the DPW director and his team. I think we're all aware of the fact that there is a very weak spot, meaning that he is still in the process of trying to fill anywhere from 9 to 10 positions. Having going through this process over the summer, I know how much I've come to rely on Bob Knox and Ronnie Zanazzo and others to do the minor things of picking up trash, to helping me get weed control underway, and especially that along the Beach Street, Broadway area of the Bike to the Sea and the old rail. So, but again, I just want to send out a huge kudos to the team. They've worked. They've had a hard summer, having a serious manpower issue that we hope will get resolved in the fall for them. And last item I just want to share with you folks is the Problem Properties Unit. I did have some materials put in my folder. I don't know if everyone else got them. I know that electronically we're sending them out. But, that team of 13 or 14 people sitting around the table every other week has been doing some fabulous work. And key areas of the city that, we see along the Eastern Ave area, our main drags, or even some of the smaller areas on the residential side streets. A while back, the ordinance team last year had actually, our last session had actually done some work around amending an ordinance, allowing the Board of Health and other folks to get in onto the properties, and as I kind of coined a phrase, clean and lean it. They're doing that now, and they've actually hired local people to take on the work of cleaning a property up, so that, again, clean it up, quality of life is back, at least visually. People are starting to see a little bit more activity from the city side, but that particular group that does meet every other Wednesday at 10 o'clock, I think it's open to anyone who wants to attend. I certainly try to make them. Councilor Matheson also attends, but you'll find them very informative, and they are doing a lot of work. They've walked through my ward. I think they just finished Councilor Crow's ward last week. And so I expect that list that they're working on, that you all receive, will be quite sizable. I think they're doing great work. So I just want to thank everyone involved in that, because I certainly am seeing the benefit of it. Other than that, I think I'm done with my announcements, even though motion to adjourn. All in favor?